So picture this. You're at the altar and you're saying your I do's to the love of your life, the person you want to spend the rest of your life with. And they get to that part in the ceremony where they say, do you take your partner in sickness and in health? Have you ever really thought about that line? Well, if you're like me, you thought about it in terms of how it might affect your spouse. You thought, yes, I take my spouse in sickness and in health. And yes, my partner takes me in sickness and in health. And for me, I even knew at the time, because I was already diagnosed with Crohn's disease. So at the time, I knew that sickness and health part for my spouse, that meant a lot. That was saying a lot. But what I didn't think about at the time was the other people that in sickness and in health line would encompass. I didn't think about how that would impact my unborn children. And I didn't think about how that would impact my family around me, like my parents or my in-laws or any of the other loved ones that live close by. I really didn't think about that. And I bet if you're honest, I bet you didn't think about that either, about how your Crohn's or your colitis would actually have a big impact, not only on your spouse, but on all of those people around you. Well, that's what we're going to be talking about today. But before we get started, let me just introduce myself in case we haven't met. I'm Karen Haley, the digestive coach for moms, and I want you to take a load off with me, grab a cup of tea. I have my cup of tea right here. Take a break from the kids and just relax for a few minutes. I'm going to introduce you today to a new series. It's a new video series, a 4-part video series all about this topic in sickness and health, snapshot of a Crohn's and colitis family. So it's a 4-part video series talking about the impact of our Crohn's and colitis on our family members. And before you think I'm going to the negative place, I want you to know that I really thought about this because it wouldn't be that hard to come up with the negative ways that we feel like our kids and our spouse and our parents and the people that are around us that we love, about how they're negatively impacted by what we go through. But there's also something that I've noticed after having Crohn's for so long. Something I've noticed is that there's a positive side there too. There's ways that me having Crohn's has positively impacted my kids and my family and the people around me. So we're not going to just go to the negative here. There's the negative, there's the positive. And in fact, I really don't even like that word negative. I call it, you'll see as we talk about it, I call it the not so pretty, because there's the yin and yang of it, right? There's both sides. And that's what I want to talk about in this 4-part series. So up today is our little darlings, our kiddos. How does Crohn's and colitis impact them? And if you've thought about this before, or if you're thinking right now, ooh, I know a way, I want you to join the conversation. I want you to leave a comment below and let us know how you feel like your Crohn's or your colitis has impacted your kids so that we can all learn from each other. But I'm going to put a little caveat on this. I know if you're watching this video, you're probably not celebrating, woohoo, Crohn's, colitis, great, because you're probably on the internet and you're probably searching for information because you're at a place where you're struggling right now. You're struggling with it. And so those negatives, those not so pretties, I'm sure they're top of mind. But if you do leave a comment and it's one of the not so pretty impacts on our kids, I'm going to challenge you to also think about a positive way, something positive that you've seen that has come out of this illness, something that you've seen that's impacted your kids. Today, I'm going to be sharing with you how I think, and of course, we're all saying this from our own lens. It would probably be different if you talk to my actual kids, but I'm saying this from my lens. I want you to say it from your lens too. How do you think it's impacted your kids? So I'm talking about my 3 kids and the way that I think that Crohn's has impacted them, both the pretty and the not so pretty today. And remember, this is a 4-part series, so this is video number 1 in this series. So let's get started, and I want to start with the not so pretty. Let's go ahead and just get that one out of the way first. There's 5 of them. So the not so pretty number 1 is this. It's what I like to call mi baño, su baño. So I know you know the phrase, I'm sure you've heard it, mi casa, su casa. My house is your house. Well, in a Crohn's and colitis family, that phrase should be mi baño, su baño. My bathroom, your bathroom. You get what I'm saying, I'm sure, right? when we have Crohn's and colitis, we're in the bathroom a lot. And guess what that means? It means our kids are in the bathroom a lot, right? Am I right? So I know this happens all the time, even with normal, average moms. Kids are constantly interrupting in the bathroom. You just want a little peace. You need to go in there to go to the bathroom. You'll want to do it privately, but it never works out. But now that you have Crohn's and colitis and you add that factor in, we take it to a whole new level because we're going to the bathroom 10 times more than the average mom. And so you're in there more. So it means your kids are in there more. They might come in with, Mom, Johnny hit me again, or Johnny's bothering me again. But then they get in there and it's, Mom, your poop is so stinky. And they'll do that in a public bathroom too, where they're gonna embarrass you in a room full of people, right? Or, Mom, you're going to the bathroom again. Didn't you just go? Or, Mom, you're still in the bathroom, right? This really affects our lives, this me baño, su baño thing. So definitely an impact of kids with Crohn's and colitis. All I want to say is, but it definitely makes for a close-knit family. Okay, up number 2 in the not so pretty impact of Crohn's and colitis on our kids is the Mom Can't Go factor. Now, I know we already covered the bathroom. This is not the Mom Can't Go that I'm talking about. This is the Mom can't go to the soccer game. Mom can't go to the dance recital. Mom can't go to the parent-teacher night. Mom can't go to the play date that I told you I could go to. That's the Mom Can't Go that I'm talking about here. And we already know we feel physically, that's the reason why we can't go. We feel physically horrible. We might have some abdominal pain, gut pain, we might have some headache, we might have joint pain or tremendous fatigue, things like that we deal with when our Crohn's and colitis is in a flare state. And then we have to pile on the mom guilt. I feel so terrible because I can't go to whatever activity it is that my kids want to go to. I definitely feel this one strongly and feel really badly. I haven't conquered the mom guilt yet. I'm trying. It's a work in progress, but I do feel badly. So I not only feel badly from the illness, but then I feel badly that I can't go wherever it is I've promised my kids that I would love to go, right? So this is the Mom Can't Go impact, and it definitely has an impact on our kids. So what's the big impact on your kids? The not so pretty impact number 3, it's don't jump on my belly. The don't jump on my belly impact. You know what I'm talking about. When a toddler, and I'm largely talking to the moms with toddlers here because let's face it, it doesn't happen as your kids get older. But when you have a toddler, for some reason, they like to jump up and down or crawl on top of your belly. Maybe you're playing and they've got on top there and they're just kind of jumping up and down and playing. Or maybe it's in the morning, kids love to crawl in bed with mom and dad and they snuggle up, and then invariably the snuggling turns to something a little bit more rough and tumble, and eventually they're crawling on you, climbing on you, and it just kind of hurts your belly, right? So oftentimes I'd have to say to my spouse, sorry, you can't jump on my belly. I'm gonna give you to dad so that I don't have that pain all day, because we have that inflammation going on in our gut. And so of course, when our kids are climbing on us and they're jumping up and down on us, of course that hurts our belly. So that's impact number 3. Okay, so let's move from the toddler side of the spectrum to the tween and teen side of the spectrum and how that might impact your kids. I know this side very well because I've got 2 that are in the teenager stage right now. And this one has to do with something called that food sucks. So really fun, right? So if you have tried to use diet, if you're in the middle of that right now, if you know that you can use food as medicine, and you've tried maybe a gluten-free eating plan or the specific carbohydrate diet, or possibly the Mediterranean diet because that's very anti-inflammatory, or maybe it's paleo or GAPS, whatever diet it is, you're feeling really good about it. You're patting yourself on the back and you're saying, I feel good, this is really helping, and your kids are saying, what? We have to eat that food again? Why can't we eat normal pizza? And why can't we eat like Jack's family down the street eats? It's constant. They want to be normal. This is very normal for tweens and teens. They don't want to be doing what other people are not doing. So sometimes we get a little bit of kickback from them when we eat differently. And last but definitely not least, in the not so pretty impact of Crohn's and colitis on our kiddos is something that I call the late factor. Now, it really doesn't matter what the event is in my family. Chances are we're probably, if I'm involved, we're probably going to be late. My kids say that we're known as the late family. Come by that honestly because chances are, again, like I said, we're probably late. It might be because I need a little bit of extra time to get out the door because I'm just moving a little bit slower that day. Or it might be that we're walking out the door and I realize, dang, I have to go to the bathroom. Or something that I feel like has had a really positive impact on my life. I know if you've been around the Gut Love community for a while, you know that I follow the specific carbohydrate diet. And while it's been amazing at controlling my Crohn's symptoms, it hasn't been so amazing for getting out the door on time because it does take time to get the food together. If we're going out for the day, I tend to not eat out that much because it just makes me feel sick. I know that my own food is going to keep me in remission, so I like to have my own food. But that means it's going to take me a little bit longer to get out the door. Now, while I try to budget in and plan for that time, it does seem to always take a little bit longer than I think it's going to take. I don't mind it. My kids, not so much. So that definitely impacts them. Or maybe I just need a little bit more sleep. One of the things I've really enjoyed about getting to know my body so well, really learning about what causes a flare in me and what helps me be in remission, is that I learned that I really require a lot of sleep. And so I know that if my body's under stress or if I've just been going a lot, I know I need to get some extra sleep. So sometimes I'll sleep in a little bit longer and then I will end up being a little bit late for something that my kids are going to. So it sounds like some wins for me, but not a good impact for my kids, right? Maybe you can relate to that one too. Okay, so that's the not so pretty, but I promise you that for every not so pretty impact that your Crohn's and colitis has had on your kids, there are that many positive impacts on their life too. So here we go with the 5 awesome impacts that you having Crohn's and colitis has had on your kids. I don't think I said that grammatically correct at all, but I'm hoping you get what I'm saying. The positive side of you having Crohn's and colitis, the positive impact on your kids. I'm going to take a quick sip of tea. Okay, so number one is one of my absolute favorites. And number 1 is that my kids are super compassionate. And I bet your kids are too. You can't grow up having a mom with Crohn's or colitis and not feel the impact of that in a way that creates compassion. When I see just the empathy that my kids show towards people that are dealing with challenges, it makes my heart just swell. And I know that they wouldn't have that same experience. I know they wouldn't have that compassion in their lives if they hadn't lived with a mom who has Crohn's disease. It just makes me feel really proud. It makes me feel really proud that they're such compassionate souls. Next up is positive impact number 2. I love this one. My kids have medical knowledge out the wazoo. When you've got Crohn's or colitis, there's no denying all of the medical appointments that go along with it. The doctor's appointments, the lab tests, the procedures, the hospital stays. You have got to become, and I cannot stress this enough, you've got to become your own advocate and you've got to become super knowledgeable about everything that impacts your disease, everything that you need to know to help yourself get better so that you can be that advocate in the doctor's office. And if, just a side note here, if you have not jumped on that Crohn's and colitis, you've taken hold of that Crohn's and colitis train, and you've taken the wheel of it, if you have not done that, I urge you to do it now. Do it now. It is ultra empowering. And it's not only empowering for you, it's empowering for your kids. Because now I know that if, God forbid, my kids do need medical care, I know without a shadow of a doubt that not only do they have a ton of medical knowledge, but they're going to be their own advocate. And that is huge when it comes to the medical system, when it comes to navigating our medical system. Having the knowledge and being your own advocate is huge. Big, huge impact. So we've made it to positive impact number 3. My kids might tell me all the time, "Ugh, I don't want to eat that again. Can't we eat normal?" But at the same time, they're actually healthy eaters. And not just when I cook for them or when we eat at home. They might say something to me like, we were just at a birthday party, and they'll say, "Hey Mom, did you see the junk food that was served at that party? Oh my gosh, it makes me sick just looking at it or just thinking about eating it." Or they might say something like, I have teenagers, so they make their own food. So they'll say, "Hey Mom, just wanted to let you know I added a fruit or vegetable to my lunch. I know that would make you happy." Things like that. Things that show me that they're making healthy choices. So I don't even think that they know that the food that they're eating, or that they have chosen this kind of like healthy path for themselves. Occasionally, I'll say, I don't even think they know how much our healthy lifestyle is seeping into what they do. But I gotta tell you, it's been a big positive impact. And sometimes they'll surprise me and even make a healthy choice on their own. Love it. Good stuff. We've made it to positive impact number 4. We're still rolling here. And just as a side note, in case you guys are hearing it, we're a family here. I'm recording this video in my bedroom, and life is going on in my house. So I don't know what's even going on downstairs, but there's something going on with some big game. So if you hear it, it's just my family doing craziness. Okay, so number 4, positive impact number 4 is that I've got go with the flow kids. Do you have go with the flow kids? Has having Crohn's or colitis impacted them in this way? I really hope it has. It definitely has for my kids, because they know that life doesn't always go as you plan it. And sometimes even when you have plans made at the last minute, there can be a change. And I think this has really helped them to know that sometimes in life, you gotta make a U-turn, right? They're go with the flow kids, and it's all because of Crohn's and colitis, and I love that impact. I'll take that one. We've made it. We've made it to positive impact number 5, the last but not least impact, and that is that I have really independent kids, and I'm proud that they're pretty independent. They can do a lot of things on their own, and I attribute a lot of that to me having Crohn's disease, because I wasn't always able to do everything for them. You know, one of my goals as a parent is to raise independent, productive members of society. So when they leave my house at 18 and they go out into the world with wherever life is going to take them, I want to be able to say that they're independent. And I think they've gotten there a little bit quicker just because of me having a chronic illness. They've had to take on some responsibility that maybe they wouldn't have. You know, who's to say? But maybe they wouldn't have if it wasn't for this particular chronic illness. So my kids all cooked at a very young age, and they put dishes away and help with each other. They'll help each other with homework, or my older ones will help my younger one with a bath in times when maybe I don't feel well. So they really are very independent souls, and I really love that. I hope you can say that about your kids too. I hope you can say that they have an independent streak, because remember, it's not all. We could focus on all of the negative, all of the things that our kids struggle with because we have a chronic illness. But it's really important to remember, I think, that there are some positives to this too. There's some positive impacts. And so let me know if any of these resonated with you today. And if you have your own, we want to hear those too. In the comments below, add your own. Your positive, your not so pretty, as I like to call them. All of your comments below will be really helpful. Between the ones that I shared and the comments that you guys share below, I think it will really help everyone in our community. Okay guys, it's time to wrap up this video. I hope you found this information helpful for you. It's always my goal to make this information helpful for you when you have Crohn's and colitis. So I hope this one was no different from the others. If you liked this video, do your friends a favor, share it with them, because we can all use a little bit more gut love in our lives. And before I leave you guys, I have to ask you, are you a part of our gut love community for moms? If you're not, what are you waiting for? This is a fabulous community, a moms only community, moms with Crohn's and colitis, and it's full of email support, gut healing recipes, free workshops, giveaways, specials just for you in the gut love community. If you're trying to heal from Crohn's and colitis, if you're trying to balance motherhood with Crohn's and colitis, if you're thinking that you'd like to try food as medicine to help quiet your symptoms, then you definitely have to join our free community. There's a link just below this video. Okay, and remember guys, like I said, this is part 1 in my 4-part video series all about Crohn's, colitis, and the family. It's entitled In Sickness and in Health, Snapshot of a Crohn's Family. And next week, we're gonna move on and talk about the impact of Crohn's and colitis on your spouse, specifically the impact of intimacy. Ooh, juicy topic, I think. I can't wait to tackle that one with you guys. And until I see you again, until we chat again, I want to wish you much gut love and much happiness always. Bye for now. Thank you so much for watching. I hope the not so pretty impact of Crohn's on your kiddos. Blah, 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 blah.